Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Bermanology on Lettermen Row. I am your host, Jeremy Birmingham. I am joined today by Ohio State 2022 commitment Tegra Tshabola from Lakota West High School down there in Westchester, Ohio. Tegra, it's been, 10 days now since your decision, and I wanted to give you a little time to settle into that and get used to the life as a recruit and as a commitment for Ohio State. How has your life changed in these last 10 days?
It's definitely changed a lot. Even my own neighbors, like when I go out for a run in the morning, they ask me the same questions, like how's it been and things like that. Definitely gotten a lot more attention the past few days, but it's good attention though.
You know, when we had last spoken, really, it was prior to the spring, and you had said that you were really going to focus on school and worry about recruiting later because you wanted to finish out your sophomore year strong. Then the coronavirus pandemic happened, and school kind of changed quite a bit, and it allowed you to take some visits. So you went down to Tennessee. Um, you got an opportunity to visit Ohio State virtually and that kind of stuff. What was it about the change of the schedule that made you change your mind about, wanting to commit now?
Uh, for a long time, I've known that I wanted to go to Ohio State and be a Buckeye, but I had a talk with my family, and we talked. They were thinking at first that I should wait until like a little later, like junior year, after the football season is over. But at this point, like that would be too late. They could get any type of offensive tackle, or knock on wood, I could get injured and things like that. So we decided that now would be the best time, so then I could really focus on football and not really have to worry about recruiting anymore.
You said you knew for a while you wanted to be a Buckeye. Was that well before they ever offered, or was it just based on the relationship that you were building with Greg Studwara, Ryan Day, and Kennedy Cook, those guys there in Columbus, or is this just because it's the realization of a lifelong dream?
Uh, Mostly the lifelong dream. I've always wanted to, but when I talk to the coaches and I realize that they're actually really good people, they care about their players and things like that. That helped it a whole lot, like a lot.
What have you done with your game in the last year, Tegra, that kind of changed your trajectory here? What happened to take you from a guy that is learning how to play football like everyone else as sophomores in high school to a young man with opportunities to play football at Ohio State? I mean, what do you think really was the impetus to those changes?
Football is more like a it's a lot more mental than physical. So I got my mindset was that whoever's in front of me can't be there once the whistle is blown. So I just started being a lot more aggressive, firing off the ball a lot quicker, really getting my hands on just the aggression. This year I came with a whole lot more aggression than last year.
Is that a difficult switch to flip? Because, I mean, from talking to you now, from talking to you in the past, it does seem like that may not be your natural state. You seem like a pretty laid back dude.
Yeah, I'm usually a real laid back dude, but it was a little tough. Took Coach Bolden's help, getting that aggression, that using the anger that you have, leaving it all out on the field and things like that. But I'm getting a lot better at it. I'm focusing more on like skill wise, learning the like how to really do the pass block correctly. That might be the one thing I need the most help on for next year.
How frustrating is it, or disappointing, I guess, for players like you? Because now you're committed to Ohio State. I
Uh-huh.
assume you were really looking forward to this summer to have an opportunity to come to Columbus and work with the Buckeyes coaching staff on some of those things like pass protection and footwork and that kind of stuff that takes time to develop.
Uh-huh.
Are you frustrated? I mean, how do you find a way to work around that with the upcoming summer camp season likely not going to happen?
I mean, I talk to the coaches. It is tough. I talk to Coach Stud all the time. I ask him about like different things I can do to train and how to get better at things. But I mean, yeah, it's real tough that now I'm gonna have to basically speak on the phone when I need to ask him about things about like techniques and things like that. So yeah, I mean, it'll be a little tough, but we'll get through it.
You've told me in the past that you grew up playing football with Parris Johnson, correct?
Yeah, he played on my older brother's Outlaws team.
Have you had a chance to speak to Paris, and not just since you committed, but since he's been at Ohio State?
A little bit. I mean, it's all through social media, but not a lot. Sometimes I go back, I watch the combines and the things like that, and all the camps and things that he did. Talk to Willie Anderson sometimes. I ask him things about techniques and uh, just basically all that stuff, but not a lot lately.
Right now, Tegra, well, the profiles out there have you listed at 6'6", 320.
Hmm.
Where do you want to be physically by the time you finish these next 2 years of high school? Which is crazy to me to say because at 6'6", 320 pounds, the fact that you have 2 years of high school left is pretty insane to begin with. But there's obviously not a plan for you to get much bigger. So
Uh-huh.
how do you take what you have now and refine it to be ready for Ohio State in 2 years?
I mean, I want we like me and my brothers. They helped me out. I'm actually not 320. I cut down to about 305, and now I'm putting it the back on this muscle now. So I basically want to stay at the same weight, but just keep adding muscle to it as I get older and older, getting stronger, like more flexible and things like that.
What does a daily food journal look like for someone of your stature?
I wake up, I eat about 4 to 5 eggs, um, usually with French toast and orange juice. Yeah, orange. It has to be orange juice. Then for lunch, it's usually we usually eat stuff like pasta just about every day, or macaroni and cheese with chicken, fried chicken next to it. Dinner, it really depends like who's home, but it's usually also pasta.
For a guy like, I mean, offensive linemen, you guys are sort of known as, you have to be the big calorie guys when it comes to the roster. So generally, the offensive linemen are the guys that learn how to cook. Have you learned how to cook, or are you still, just letting somebody put it on a plate in front of you?
I mean, I can cook a little bit, but most likely not a full meal.
What's your go-to dish if you're at home making if it's your turn to make dinner? What is Tegra Tshabola making for dinner?
Most likely steak or something like that. Yeah.
Tegra, we're filming this just an hour ago. Your class, the 22 Ohio State recruiting class, picked up its third commitment from CJ Hicks, a guy from your area as well. How much conversation have you had with CJ, with Jair Brown, the first two, with you guys being the first three commits now in this class?
I
And
mean, I work out with CJ.
so, I mean, have you guys started to put together, I don't know, a plan for what you expect or how you want this recruiting class to go, or who's responsible for recruiting who, that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I talked to Coach Stud, and he talked to me about how to be a leader and things like that. He basically said it might come down to me leading my class into Ohio State. I've been talking to a lot of these kids, talk to them about how recruiting has gone. I've given a lot of reasons why they should go to Ohio State, and I talked to CJ before he committed while we were working out over at the field, and yeah, so I'm basically ready for it. But I mean, you couldn't be there's not really a clear way to be ready for it, but I know we'll all make it through the class 2022 Ohio State class.
I asked CJ this during his commitment interview with Lettermen Row, and I said, how important is it for a guy from Ohio to be an early commitment? How do you see the value in that? I mean, was that part of your ultimate decision, or was it just, hey, I want to make sure I have a spot no matter what?
It was kind of both, because I do want to show that Ohio has a whole lot of talent. Like, we have a whole lot of talent. And you can tell because all the good kids from Ohio, they go to Ohio State, and they're one of the best teams all, like, since the beginning. They've been one of the best teams ever. So yeah, just want to prove that we have a lot of talent here at Ohio.
The day after you committed, Ohio State offered its second in-state 2022 target in Blake Miller from up in Strongsville. Have you had a chance to speak to Blake about you guys working together, or as bookends, or has there been any relationship formed there yet?
Yeah, I talked to him a little bit about it. I talked to him a lot more about the coaches. I talked to him through Twitter. After he committed, I commented on this post, and then I DM'd him. We talked about coaching and things like that, what to expect and what to not expect, how it's going to be for now on, knowing that you now that you have Ohio State, you'll probably get a whole lot more offers, but not to think about the biggest school to go to, but the school that's going to help you out the most, and the school that's going to help you out get to your ultimate goal, which is making it to the league. So I talked to him a little bit. I'm hoping that here in a few months, or maybe in a year, that he'll join us too.
Have you gotten everything you wanted out of the recruiting process? I mean, it didn't last very long for you. You didn't get to go fly around the country and see, all the big schools that a lot of kids want to visit. But do you feel like the process went the way you wanted it to?
Yes, the process definitely went the way I wanted. So there was like a criteria that we made for a college has to meet. They have to have like coaches that really care about the players, that will put time in with the players and teach them the steps and the rules, and they have to be like running like the same type of offensive plays that an NFL team would run. Like, we wouldn't really choose to go to a school with, like, I don't know, some triple option plays or something like that. But the school also had to be like a high quality team, like a really good team. We weren't really looking to get into the rebuilding process. That's basically where, like, Tennessee had to get crossed off, because their coaches were one of the best coaches I've ever spoken to, and it was we weren't really looking to get into the rebuilding process. We want to go to a team that's already set, and like they can just teach you how to do the things and like how to do them right. Didn't really want to get in the whole rebuilding process.
Well, look, Tegra, I really appreciate you taking time. I know that, like I said, I wanted to make sure I spoke to you a little bit after the commitment to let everything die down. And hopefully you're enjoying this next phase of your recruiting and life. And, I hope things continue to go well for you. Thanks for visiting with us on Bermanology on Lettermen Row. That's Tegra Tshabola. I'm Jeremy Birmingham. Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll catch you next time. Have a good one.
Thank you. See you.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe below to get the latest videos from Lettermen Row.
We got Letterman Live, we've got the practice report, we got rapid reaction. Hey, and we got Buck IQ with Zach Bourne.
For sure. We got recruiting breakdowns with Berm. We got whatever you need. Ohio State football and Ohio State athletics, we've got you covered here at Lettermen Row.